If what's inside the box is any indication as to what they're making next, I think Element's making a semi-truck? Welcome back to the Scale Builders Guild. Thanks again for watching. Today we're taking a first look and a running of the new Element Enduro Gatekeeper RTR. If you're not familiar with Element RC, they are a subsidiary of Associated Electrics, and they make really nice trail trucks. This is the latest edition. This is their RTR Gatekeeper. Surely by now you've seen the Gatekeeper Kit edition that came out a few weeks ago. Lots of people have had a chance to review it. This one's all new to me. I haven't had any experience with the kit, but I will try to tell you a little bit about what's different in the RTR. As with all Element RC trucks to date, the box on the inside becomes a display unit. And this, let me get the truck out of the way, is some sort of semi-truck like you would see at King of the Hammers, delivering your race buggy to the starting line and having your pit set up right behind a truck just like this, which is kind of cool. It's nice that there's a little bit of dirt on the ground here, and obviously this truck was inspired by those trucks that you do see at King of Hammers, so kind of made sense that they would go with the background like that. It's actually pretty neat. For starters, you get it pre-assembled. That's what ready to run means. I thought it meant ready to review, but no, it means ready to run. In the Ready to Run edition, it comes with a motor, ESC, steering servo, all the electronics you'll need to get going, except for a battery and a charger. This will run on 2S or 3S LiPo batteries and up to 6-cell nickel metal hydrides if that's your thing. This is definitely more of a rock racer buggy style kind of look. There are some major differences in how this chassis works and goes together. A lot of people have made the comparison to the Capra in terms of how this looks. This is a caged sort of truck, buggy design, but that's where I would say the similarities to the Capra end. Because it is on the Enduro platform, it does have C-channel rails, as well as a lot of elements of the Element RC Enduro that you would expect to see. Center mounted transmission, the Stealth X transmission, which offers a 6% overdrive out of the box, and I believe an option to go up to 12% included in the parts bag, which has a bunch of stuff in it, gears and whatnot. This is an RTR, so some of the spec is going to be a little bit different from what you would see in the kit. But because it is RTR, you do get these nicely detailed Lexan panels that really have quite a nice livery on them, I must say. Element green is in there, and these are screen printed, so there is a lot more detail than just a standard painted panel. Really cool looking. I think it actually suits the look of this truck quite nicely, actually, and shows that there's somebody doing their design homework over at Element RC. It's great that there's a full interior. It has no depth at all. There's a little tiny hump for where the shoulders on these men would be, but at least there is an interior, and that is a nice touch. There's a couple other little plastic details here. There is a fuel cell at the back of the truck and a nice little molded radiator as well. That's it for scale details, not heavy in them, but I'm sure, like Element has done in the past, there'll be a bunch of things that you could probably download and print. I think it looks really good. The plastic cage itself is mounted in a hinged manner, so you pull on the back and that's how you access everything. Get to your electronics by just flipping the top, which we will do right there. It goes all the way forward to give you plenty of access to everything on the inside. So this cage isn't technically structural. I think once you lay it in and actually use the body pins and hold it down, it does add some rigidity, but this is an Enduro underneath, so there is a bit of inherent flex that's built into this chassis. It's not the firmest chassis out there, but it certainly does a good enough job for a trail truck. As you can see, space is definitely at a premium. This is a much smaller cage, so electronics are mounted up front. You get your ESC and servo here. They've created sort of a different panel, I believe, in order to hold in, to make a nice flat panel for the ESC. Dean's plugs on this one, so you're ready to go. Most people have Dean's, and if not, you can just cut this off and put your own connector on there. One final note on the included ESC is that it does have pigtails for both headlights and taillights. And they may actually work with one of the third channels on the radio, so there may be an opportunity there for you to add some lights later on. Would have been cool to see lights on this truck. I feel like, you know, light bar or maybe something up front or some, you know, Baja style pods underneath would have been a nice touch. But, you know, RTR can't expect to get everything all in one go. 4-channel receiver and very, very thin skid plates on either side here. That's because, of course, this cage is quite narrow. Let me kind of give you a side profile there. It is designed to be more of a rock racer buggy style car, so there isn't a ton of width. Track width, of course, is the same because this is an Element Enduro underneath, so the axles are exactly the same. Wheelbase is a bit stretched. This is a longer wheelbase. Let's count the squares. Let's see if we get this right here. See if it's anywhere close. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.8. All right, I can count today. That's good. So it's a 12.8-inch wheelbase. I think the front axle is probably exactly where it would be normally on the any other Enduro. And then the rear axle has been pushed further out back. And I think that's to help a little bit with stability. In order to also maintain more stability, because this is meant to be a bit faster, you can see there is a very nice sway bar that's included here as well. And that's to help keep this rear axle and chassis sort of planted a bit more in the rear than it would be in the front in a traditional solid axle 3 or 4 link style. One other thing you're probably noticing right away is that this is not a traditional suspension setup for a trail truck. This is trailing arm suspension. So you've got your shock mounted in a normal location, but instead of mounting to the axle, it's mounting to these trailing arms. So you get a lot of travel, more travel than you would probably get in a traditional trail truck. And that's also by design. They wanted this to be a bit more rock racer buggy, like I've said a couple dozen times already, but that was definitely the intention. Everything else that you would expect to see on an Enduro can be found on this truck. I'll post a link up here to one of my other reviews so you get a chance to understand what the Enduro platform is all about. In order to make this a little more attractive in terms of its price point, a couple of things have changed over the kit that you won't find in the RTR. These are the silver aluminum bodied shocks with plastic caps. In the kit, they're the gold anodized ones, and I think they are a slightly better shock than these ones. No high clearance links in the front. I didn't really find it to be that big of a deal in any of the driving dynamics, but I do not have a kit, so I cannot give you a comparison in that regard. The metal inserts for shock locations are included, so that's a really nice feature. On these shock towers, there is an adjustable mounting pad, I guess you could call it, and that actually allows you to change your mounting position, and it's a much stronger location to mount to because it's aluminum, not just plastic anymore. Those can be moved around if you have managed to somehow break one of these shock towers. You can replace it and use that metal piece again. As with all Element trucks, in the spare parts bag, they also include the gears required to get that more aggressive overdrive. So that's something you can do at home. There's also a couple extra rod ends and an extra servo horn. It is plastic. I'm pretty sure it's plastic on the bottom of the truck too. You can't tell if it's plastic or metal. That's a metal servo horn. Nice one, Element. It is quite easy to get into this truck. I do like how they hinged it. I think that was a really nice touch. Makes it really easy to work on. If there were something to go wrong on the trail, you just pop the top and get started. The kit includes a lot of AE's upgraded plastic compound in the gray color. There is a little bit more flexibility in this chassis than there would be in the kit version. The kit version is definitely meant for the builder, someone who wants to put something together, put their own spin on it, and add all of their own electronics. It's still really great though that they do offer both a kit and an RTR. There are a lot of trucks out there that I wish there was a kit for, but this is one of them that allows you to have it both ways. If that's what you're into. There are a few things that I found a little bit strange about this RTR, and I did want to go over them. In the spare parts bag, they include the longer battery tray, and you're like, fantastic, that's great. Why is that a bad thing? Well, it doesn't fit in this truck. There's no way to get this to fit so you can run a larger battery. You're stuck running the shorty style packs because this cage is so narrow. There is an option though to run this battery tray at the back of the truck. This integrated cross member here for the shock towers has the same bolt pattern as the battery tray, so you could put it in the rear if you needed a little more weight over the rear axle. One nice upgrade, now the truck includes a metal panhard mount, whereas in every other Enduro up until now, I think it was plastic. So having a nice solid place to mount your panhard to is a really good thing. That is a nice bonus and something that I hope they integrate into all kits and RTRs going forward. For an RTR, not so shabby on the performance. It is very tippy, and I think it's partially because it's locked solid axles front and rear. The sway bar doesn't help with movement, so there is a lot of traction roll. Where I did find it doing quite well was in the rocks. It actually did a really decent job. Even with these stock general grabbers in the X3 compound on Method plastic beadlocks, it did pretty well, I gotta say. Would it be my first choice for setup? Probably not. As it is an RTR, it's quite plush in the rear, maybe a little bit too plush. I'd probably get a little bit heavier weight of oil in those shocks, and I'd probably want to tune them a little bit more in order to give this a little less rolling flexibility in the rear. Up front, not a ton of travel, just about a right amount for me. I did actually really like driving this truck. The electronics don't give it a lot of pep. It's not very peppy out of the box. And the included XP130 radio, it is a decent radio, analog controls for all of your trims and EPA and dual rate adjustments. Again, with most elements, it seems to be a bit punchier in reverse right out of the box. So that's something that you will definitely want to work on, maybe even replace the RTR radio. Along with some pretty basic instructions and a catalog of Element's products, you do get a pretty decent sticker sheet. There's some funny bumper stickers on there. Hey, hit it with your tactical bag. We make tactical bags. That's funny. I don't remember seeing that one before. That must be a new one. But I like that. Good work, Element, making fun of me making fun of other things. But nice sticker sheet. You will have to trim these all out yourself. They are not pre-cut, but lots of good choices to make and lots of places on the truck to put them. I'd also like to say that I made it through this whole video without making one Ghostbusters joke. Pretty decent value. If this is something that you're interested in getting, I will be sure to put a link into the description below as soon as it is available. I'm interested in what you think about this truck. Kit or RTR? Where's your head at? What would you get? Be sure to post your comments down below. You know I love reading through your feedback and I try to answer as many of them as I can. And if you're enjoying this video and you want to see more content like this, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already and ring that notification bell so you get updates anytime there's a new video from the Scale Builders Guild. So there you go, first look, first run of the Element RC Enduro Gatekeeper. My thanks to Element for sending me the new Gatekeeper RTR. This was a lot of fun to get out on the trails and to put it through its paces. I think it'll be probably one of the more fun Element trucks that I've had in the collection. And definitely one that I'm going to try to do a little bit of work to and make it a little more capable than it already is. I think that's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. See you again soon.